Hi there everybody, Adam Giles here from Mirror World News. If you're an aspiring author, you're going to want to send a query letter out to publishers. But how do you write a query letter? What is a query letter? Well, today we're going to cover that by talking with the publisher here at Mirror World Publishing, Justine Alley Dowsett. Don't go away. Hi everybody, like I said before, we are now going to talk about query letters. And with me I have Justine Alley Dowsett from Mirror World Publishing, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about them. But I think the burning question to any aspiring authors are like almost shaking. What is a query letter? Why do I need it?
Query letter is the first thing that an editor or agent is going to look at when they receive your submission. So it acts as your cover letter, but it's more than that. It's kind of your foot in the door. It's introducing who you are as an author, what your manuscript is, and briefly summarizing why they should care.
Okay, so why is that important though? I know other people have heard that answer. They're like, yeah, I know all that, but why? Why is it important?
The same way a first impression is important when you're networking. That's essentially what it is. You're just doing that in written form, and you're an author, so you should be able to do that well.
It's your first impression, your foot in the door, your first impression, first time they ever hear of you. Okay, so we're going to now break down how to write a strong query letter. Okay, now first and foremost, every single publishing company out there has slightly different rules, correct?
Right. The submission guidelines can usually be found on the publisher's website, and they will state very clearly what it is that they want you to send them, what genres they're looking for, how they want it sent, if they have a font size preference. It's all going to be there. It's very important that you follow the submission guidelines because it shows that you can follow directions.
And I know this goes without saying, but before you even write a query letter, before you do anything to do with a publisher, write something. Right? Have something written, and that might seem a no-brainer, but have it written. And why?
Because when you are submitting to a fiction publisher, they want to see the manuscript. They don't want just a proposal. It may be a bit different with nonfiction, but with fiction, that manuscript should be finished. They want to know what genre it's in, how many words it is, how long it is, basically what they're purchasing.
Yeah, so definitely make sure it has something written. Now let's break down the query letter itself. Now this again, specifics for different companies will be there, but this is how to make a strong query letter across the board. So first of all, what do you need?
I need to do your research. So you want to go to that publisher's website, see what kind of books they publish, if your books would fit with them, and what their submission guidelines are. You also want to know who you're contacting so that you can address that query letter properly to the right person.
And that just adds to that first impression. Again, if I got a query letter that says, to whom it may concern, I'll say, but if I get a query letter addressed to me, Adam Giles, I'll be like, oh, this is to me.
Yeah, it's very important to make a connection that that's what you're trying to do. So if you get that person's name, that's one step done. And then if you can cite why you're looking at their website or why you're submitting to them specifically, then that's going to create another connection there.
Awesome. And what's our next point?
You want to be as direct and concise as possible. State your genre, state why you're submitting to this publisher, what your book's about, and what the word count is.
And why?
You're going to cover all of your bases that way. They want it to get to the point because publishers are looking through usually a large pile of submissions.
So just on a little bit of a tangent here, by large pile of submissions, what about Mirror World Publishing? It's a burning question that's kind of floating in the room here. How many query letters do you guys get?
We have had our submission closed for quite a while actually this summer while we've released a lot of novels, so we anticipate that when the submissions reopen on November 15th that we're going to be flooded with submissions. Before we were a little less well known, we were getting about 5 to 7 a week. So that's on the low end, I would say, because we're a small publisher and just getting started.
So like for example, I'm just going to throw one out, Penguin Books.
Yeah, I really don't want to see what their submission file is like.
I can't even really imagine.
No.
So that's again where first impressions are so key, because there are possibly thousands of other manuscripts being sent into these publishing companies, right?
Yes, for sure.
Now what's our next point?
You want to include a brief synopsis, but really focus on the hook or what makes your story engaging. So whatever it is that makes your readers want to keep reading your story, you want to state that as clearly as possible to also hook your agent or editor.
Because if you hook them, you'll hook your audience.
Exactly. And that's what they're looking for. It's how engaging something is and how well they can sell it.
Awesome. And what else we got?
So you also want to make sure to mention your author credentials, or if you have any history in the publishing world at all. If you don't, it's best just to leave that out, but if you do, definitely mention that.
Now that includes any kind of awards you have won, and it doesn't matter what kind of awards they are, right? They could be big, they could be small, it doesn't matter.
No, of course. If you publish any short stories, if you're mentioned in any magazines, if you've taken a creative writing course, anything that's going to back you up as an author and show that you have put the work and the time and the effort into it.
Right on. And is there anything else we need for a good, strong query letter?
Be polite, but definitely make sure to show your style. So as an author, you know how to write, you got to prove it, and you only have about half a page to do it. So that's where you really want to shine, is make sure that your hook is engaging and that you show what you can do as a writer.
Right. And just always remember a piece of advice as well. Don't write a book to sell your book, right? Keep it concise, keep it brief. It's a cover page. Like, it's only like usually about 1 page maximum, right?
Yes, I would keep it almost to maybe 2/3 of a page or half a page. It doesn't need to be very long. Like, being concise is important.
And sometimes for writers, being concise and short is harder than writing long.
So much harder. So much harder.
I can always expand a story. It's hard to cut it down. Yeah. But anyway, is there any other advice you can give for any aspiring authors out there that are looking into starting the query letter process, that are just ready to start out?
Take a look at a lot of sample query letters, but above all, actually, once you've done that, is to do your own thing. You want your own voice to come through in the end. That's what's going to get you noticed above anything else.
Right on. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in today to talk to us about query letters. I know it's a burning question for many aspiring authors out there. We are going to be back again probably later on this month or next month and talk about more aspects of writing and more advice for aspiring authors or even active authors out there. And once again, when does your submissions open up?
November 15th.
November 15th. Swamp her with query letters yourself.
Yeah.
Now, please make sure to like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you this awesome content. We have many more things planned with Mirror World News, so definitely make sure to check back. And also, go over to the Mirror World Publishing website. You'll see their submission guidelines that you have to follow. And you'll also find the other books that you've published. How many books does Mirror World have so far published?
At the end of this year, we'll have 18.
18 books published?
Yes.
Now they're all by the same author? Are they all different authors? Or?
No, we have, I think, 9 authors now with us.
Ever growing.
Yeah.
So definitely make sure to check that out. Well, from myself here at Mirror World News, thank you so much for coming in.
And thank you for having me.